People, yeah. First of all, I will introduce myself. As Ramki mentioned, I have around 8+ years of experience, and I have been working with ThoughtWorks for almost for 5 years, and I have been, I have worked in different tech stacks, web, mobile, AR, VR things, and I've worked on different things. So Arium is one of the tool that we got an idea to build a tool, and we were in a state. We got an idea. Uh, we had a way to proceed to develop those ideas, and we were able to open source it, and we are going to look into it now. So okay, let's me share my screen. Okay, people, can everybody see my screen? I hope yes.
Yes, Jesse.
Okay. Okay, I will tell you what is Arium. Arium is an open source tool which is developed by ThoughtWorks, and in ThoughtWorks, by a specific team. We worked on Arium, and we developed it and we made it open source. uh, why Arium, why it is named as Arium first? That is the first question that I have got whenever I speak in public forums or internal forums. Arium is just a name, that's all. We have Selenium, we have Appium, similarly. So this is to automate AR/VR applications. That's why we just ask like that, we get the name as Arium. So that's Arium actually. It is an automation framework for XR applications, which is developed on top of Unity game engine. Okay, so I will tell you what is AR. So in the previous vodka, we had a session for the introduction for AR, VR, and XR, and we were giving an example. But still, again, I will give you an example. But I will not get into the deeper examples, but I will give an one-liner example for AR, VR, and MR. Okay. So any questions so far? Right. Ramki, can you please help me? If there is any questions that I can take it up. Okay.
Yeah, sure, Jesse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What's XR? What's XR? Okay. So XR is a common term. Okay, sorry. XR is a common term. It is an umbrella term where it fits in AR, VR, and MR. So X is kind of a variable here. So you can fix in AR, you can fix in VR, and we can fix in MR. So I'll tell you what is AR, VR, and MR. What is the difference between it? So AR is just an application, so which will get rendered in the real-time environment. Let's say when I say a real-time environment, it may be your living room. Okay, so you are in a living room and you're wearing you are having a AR supported mobile or AR supported wearables. So whatever it is, right? You can wear, and you are sitting in your living room, and you are placing a virtual application in the living room. So now what happens? Now what is the current situation, right? So whenever you open a laptop or whenever you open a mobile, so you can see your application inside your laptop, inside your mobile, and it doesn't interfere with any of your real world objects around you. So uh, so this AR applications, so it will get rendered, let's say in front of your TV. So you have your living room. There is a television in your living room, and you can place your application in front of you, just in front of you, and you can access your application. You can play your games, whatever it is, right? It can be a game, and it can be a business specific application as well. So you can place it in your living room. That's how the AR works. So what is VR? And most of you have experienced this VR experience whenever you get into you get into a gaming center, or you get into a mall, or you get into a exhibition, right? So you saw people were wearing a closed glass which closes their eyes, and they are doing some random things, right? So they some people will dance on the forum, but no, so that guy who's wearing the glass doesn't know that he's he is dancing, but he doesn't know the others are looking that he is dancing. So because he is into the virtual world actually. For example, let's say you're wearing a wearable, and that the wearable, and that is taking you taking you to the world where you are driving a bike, and you are sliding from a hill slope. Okay, so what is actually happening there is, so actually your entire eyes are covered, and it gives you an experience for you that you are sliding from a hill slope. But actually, the physically you are sitting on a bike, and you are wearing a wearable, and that bike, whenever the scene is you are sloping on the hill, the bike will be kind of tilted, and it gives an actual experience that you're sliding from a hill. So that's how the VR works. But what is the difference between AR and VR now? In AR, you will see the actual real time, real world that is around you. So if you're in a living room, you know that you are in a living room and you're accessing your application. And the others around you will not see what you are doing inside the application, inside the device. Okay, what you are looking at in your device. But in VR, you will not be able to see others around you. You will be only looking at your application. You will be experiencing a different world. You will forget your real world actually, and you will be in a different VR world actually. That is VR. What is MR? Okay, AR is okay and VR is okay. We can have a real difference. What is MR? So MR is kind of things that will identify your real world objects and act accordingly. For example, I have designed an application which has a virtual ball. When I say ball, let's assume it's a cricket ball. Okay. So what happens in a real world to a cricket ball when you hit it on the ball? So it will go and it will bounce back, right? So it will go and hit the wall and it will bounce back. That's the real world, that's how the ball behaves, right, in the real world. So this MR object, I mean, in MR, if you have a virtual ball, if you throw out that ball in the actual real-time ball, it will go and hit and come back. That's how the MR works. It will actually interact with your real-world objects. So it will identify the real-world objects. The experience is designed in MR. So if it sees a ball, if you throw out a ball in a virtual ball at a wall, it will bounce back. So we will tell the ball in the programming, say whenever it is thrown and it finds a wall, it finds a real object, hit and bounce back. That's how the MR works. Any questions, people, so far? Any questions? Okay, I could see a chat.
No questions so far, Jesse.
Okay. Oh, sorry. People. All right. So this is the difference between AR, VR, and MR. Okay. Why it is loading? Okay. Okay. What is the motive of having Arium? So we have a practice rate whenever you people have heard of the term XP practices, right? So whenever you have an application, even it can be a web, it can be a mobile application. So whatever we do, right? So we write automation tests, right? So to cover up all the test cases and things. and we build a pyramid. You have unit test, you have integration test, you have UI test, and things, right? You do manual testing and things. So in case of web, we have n number of tools you can automate. You can automate your web applications using it, and you can fit in your test in your pipeline, and you can execute and everything, right? And now, similarly for the mobile applications also, you have similar tools like that. So now, for XR applications, whenever we started, working on XR, right? So we tried ourselves to adapt, we tried to adapt ourselves into an XP practice. But the major difficulty that we found is, how we are going to automate the XR application. There's no tools available in the market, and nothing is there, and we don't know how to automate it. And we were evaluating, we were kind of Googling daily, and we didn't find anything useful for us. And we were exploring our own Unity engine, and we found a way that we can automate. And initially what happened is, we wrote an automation framework which will work only for our project, so specific to our project. That's how we wrote the framework initially. At that time, Arium doesn't exist, nothing exists, but we have our internal, let's say 5 classes of a framework. That's all, a very, very basic framework. And we were able to achieve the functional test. I mean, we were able to run the functional test for XR application, and which will run on the editor, Unity editor. In the later point, I will cover what is Unity editor, but let's assume that as a kind of Eclipse for Java. Okay. So that's how, that's the motive to write the functional test for XR application is the motive. And this is the history of Arium. So what is the idea? So the idea is to build an extensible framework for writing automation tests. So we built an automation framework initially, but that is very specific to our project. So now we were facing these issues, right? We were looking into different tools, and we didn't find anything at all. And we kind of did a basement for a XR application framework. And we had an idea in later point in time. So what if what if we could make it available for the world? So when I say the world, let's not make it to our project specific. Let's make it very generic, and we can open source it, and then we can take it to public forums and ask people to use it and get the feedback, and keep on improving this Arium like Selenium and Appium. That's the whole idea behind it. This is the idea actually. So the idea is, and the one more idea is, we want to make it very easy and extensible. So why we are saying it is very easy is, it's just a matter of 2 clicks to install Arium in your XR project. I will show you how to implement this. So, and that is the first easy thing. And for using Arium, we need to know a very basic Unity knowledge. So that's the you can prerequisite that, I would say. We need a basic Unity knowledge to approach Arium, and why it is extensible. So as I said, you're right. When I say we had a framework specific to our project, we are using a SDK which is specific to our project. There are different SDKs, right? We have Google's SDK, and we have Microsoft MRDK. We have different SDKs. So our project is using an SDK, and we want to make people to use Arium who is using the other SDKs as well. So that's why we made it generic, and we are providing Arium for people who is using any of the SDKs. That's the extensible part of it. Will any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right. Okay.
Oh, JC.
Okay. Yeah, how testing for XR is different. Yes, you have you have your device. Let's say an AR/VR supported mobile device. You have a wearable or whatever it is, right? The AR supported device. You have a head mounted device, and you're using your application. So whenever you use a laptop or a mobile, right, actual laptop or an actual mobile, it is not interfering with your real world. The application is not getting interfered with your real world objects that you're in. Let's say you're sitting in your couch in a living room, and you're accessing an application in your laptop. That is not going to interfere with any of your real world objects in your room. Again, this is applicable for your mobile as well, right? So whenever you use an XR application, that has an implication on your real world objects. When I say implications, right, it will try to find your walls. It will try to find your tables and things. Okay, so this is how the XR testing is different from the actual web application or mobile application testing. Okay. And this is device oriented and OS specific SDKs. So even like mobile, right? We can build XR application for different devices as well. So you can when I say different devices, different platforms as well. You can build it for Android, you can build it for Windows, you can build it for iOS, or this is very device specific as well. And this is how the XR testing is different from the normal web application or mobile application testing. Okay. So how did we overcome it? Okay, I was saying, right, we had a very generic framework with 4 or 5 classes, and that was very specific to our project. And now, how did we got an idea to make it generic? How did we get an idea to handle different things in Arium, right? So, for example, let's say I am using an SDK called X. Okay, that X SDK, when I wear the glass and use my application, so that application is developed on top of that particular SDK. So that particular SDK supports an interaction called pinch. When I say pinch, so let's say my application is rendered in front of me, just 2 meters away from me. Okay. So if I want to click a button on that particular application, how will I interact with it? So the interaction is kind of a pinch that my SDK supports. Pinch is kind of an action like this. So if I do a pinch in between the camera and the application, placing that, I am looking at the button and I am doing a pinch while looking at the button, it will trigger a click point in that button. Okay. This is one of the SDK. This is the interaction that SDK supports. Okay, one of the SDK supports. So let's take the second SDK, which supports when you do this pop action, right? When I say pop action, right? This is the pop action. Okay, when I do an action like this, that application will give me a menu. So this interaction is there in the second SDK. Okay, so we have 2 different SDKs with 2 different interactions, right? So how can we make Arium generic now? So different SDKs has different interactions. Let's say each SDK can have at least 5 interactions, and let's say we have around let's say for 3 SDKs. For 3 SDKs, each of 5 interaction, we have 15 type of interactions, right? So how will we make Arium generic? So when you are using a mobile application or a web application, right? There also you will have different interactions, but you have way to interact with those applications, right? Whenever you enter, whenever you click on a text box and type something on your keyboard, that text gets entered in the text box. Whenever you click on a button, that trigger event is getting on a, the trigger event is triggered, I mean, on a button, right? So the mouse pointer is doing those actions. And even if you take your mobile, right? If you do, you can do a tap, you can do a double tap, you can scroll, you can swipe. There are different interactions like that. This XDKs will have different interactions, right? So we want to make a generic automation tool for different interaction. Okay, that's how that's the problem statement that we have. This is how we overcome it, right? So whenever we want to use an XR application, these are all the parameters that we need to consider. One is the real world. Other one is the SDK, that is the application which is built on top of, and the game engine that we use to develop the application. And in our case, it is Unity, and Arium works only with the Unity events. Okay, there are different game engines as well, but Arium supports only for Unity. And it's supposed, okay, let's not confuse here. Unity is a game engine, and SDK, which SDK is different, and the Unity game engine is different. Arium supports only for Unity, but for all the SDKs. Okay, and the virtual objects. I will explain you all these terms here. But whenever we are using an XR application, right, an AR/VR or MR application, right, these two things we cannot control anywhere, right? The real world object, I can open an application in my living room. I can I can wear my device and go to open ground, and I can open my application there, and I can get into a theater, and I can open my application inside a theater. And so the real world implications, right, that we cannot control at all. So Arium is not considering the real world at all. Okay, and SDKs, right? SDKs, we have different interactions, and people, whoever is developing or whoever is testing the XR application, can use different SDKs. That also we cannot have control over, and we can control only this Unity game engine. So why I am telling why can we control this is, whenever the SDK can have different interactions, okay, but at last what we identified is all the interactions are getting converted to an Unity event. Okay, let's say I do a pinch on a button. I said it will trigger a click on that particular button. Okay, so what happens behind the scenes after a pinch? After doing a pinch, this SDK is triggering a Unity click event. Okay, so that's what the idea we got. That's the actual soul of this Arium framework. The SDK is converting that pinch event to a Unity click event. So what we are doing is we are ignoring the SDK part here, and we are placing Arium in between the SDK and Unity. So now what Arium does is it will directly click a Unity click event on that particular button in case of automation. So when you manually test the application, you have to really do a pinch. Whenever you you automate that application, you will not do a manual pinch. You will directly pass a Unity trigger event, I mean Unity click event, so that the button is clicked. So that's why we are calling it as functional test. The motive is to click on the button, but action can be anything. It can be a pinch, or it can be a backdoor way that we are clicking that particular button to make a click. That's the idea of Arium. Any questions, people? If I am confusing, you can stop and ask me questions. Since it is new, people will get confused. That's why, any questions?
Nothing on the chat or Q&A so far, Jesse. So Yeah.
Okay. Let me move on. Okay. I'll show you a demo. For the demo, I will explain you some of the terminologies we use in XR. Okay. So, for example, okay, I will tell you there are different terminologies that I am going to use now. I will explain you. Okay, there's a question. I hope you will probably pick a use case and explain part of. Yeah. I am going to do that. That's the demo here. Yeah, that's the demo. Okay, I will tell you what are the terminologies here and where I am going to use these terminologies. Okay, a scene is a collect. Okay, whenever I say scene, right. So this is Unity. Okay, so the screen that you're seeing is the Unity of Unity game engine. So where it gives the developer to it gives the provision to develop a game or a business application as well. Okay, so whenever I say a scene, right, what are all the screens that you are seeing in your application? I mean, whatever, let's say you have WhatsApp, okay? WhatsApp, you have chats, you have status, and you have video calls, and different screens are there, right? So in each screen, each screen you can consider it as a scene now, for example, okay? And the buttons on that particular screen is considered as a game object. So consider this whole screen, right? I will annotate. Text. This part you can consider it as a scene, okay? And each of these elements, right? So this box, this box, this button, the click button, and okay. Oh, my annotation is not good. 1 minute. Okay, so this is consider this whole thing as a scene, and each and everything, this box, this animator box, this slider, and this click button, and underneath that box, this circle, this sphere, everything you considered as a game object. Okay, so here is the game object hierarchy. For example, if you this is the game object hierarchy. When I say game object hierarchy, right, whatever game object that I have in the scene, this scene has been actually opened here. This is the Unity sample scene. In this scene, you have different game objects. Okay, this is the game object hierarchy of this particular scene. This scene, the whole scene name is Unity sample scene, and the game object has different names. Okay, you have button, which is this click button, and you have this display. This is new text display, and animated object is this animated object, and slider is this slider. Okay, so inside a scene you have a game object hierarchy. You can relate this hierarchy to your Selenium DOM. I mean, you know the DOM objects in Selenium, and whenever you try to take your identify your elements, right? You take XPath, ID, class names, and things, right? So you can consider this hierarchy. You can similarly, that is the hierarchy here. Okay, so to find the game objects inside the scene. Okay, so scene, game object hierarchy. Okay, and I'm going to explain you the game object inspector. Okay, so whenever I say click on this button, right, this gives me in the inspector, it gives me the components of the particular game object. So this button is a specific game object which is under this scene, and under this scene, the scene's hierarchy, and button has a different components. For example, if you want to change the position of this button, let's say the position of this button is 000 now. Let's say I change it to 6. Did you notice that the button is moved a bit top? For example, if I change button's position to maybe 20, did you notice that there's a change? 0, and maybe I will change it to -10. See what happens. So button is coming down. So here, this is how we position the game objects inside the scene. Okay. So if you want to change the height and width of it, right? Let's say I will change the width to 200. See, the width of the button has been changed. So this is how this is the components and its property of a button. Okay. So here, if you see, there is a script attached to it. Okay. The script is attached to this particular button component and say what needs to be done whenever user clicks on this button. Okay. So I will run this sample scene. Okay. And I will show you what happens whenever I click on the button. Okay. So now you see the text is new text. After clicking the button, it says the buttons, the text has been changed, button clicked. So this is the functionality of this button. This functionality has been defined in this particular script. Okay. Any questions, people, so far? Okay. So this is the inspector. Okay. I want to show you one more thing. The test runner. It is nothing but whenever you run your test on Eclipse, right? You will see the list of the tests that you have written, right? That is the list here. Actually, here only we will execute our tests. Okay, we have different tests for these different components, and we will be running our test in the test runner only. Okay. How this test runner identify the test? How it identifies the functional test that has been written. So whenever we write an automation test for selling, a web application, right? The test will not be a part of the development code base, right? Almost, I mean, in maximum of the cases, the test will be in a different code base, and the development code, the actual logical application will be in a different code base. So the test will be separate. So in a functional automation test case, right? So the development code and the test will be in the same code base. Okay. So it will be in a different folder. So let's say this sample, right? So this sample this is an Arium sample. That's why the scripts and the test are in the same folder in the actual use case, right? So this functional test will be a folder of the actual development code. Okay. So how we differ, whenever we build an application, right? This test will also get built along with the application. No. So how we are separating this as a test folder, and how we are ignoring it while building the application, right? So we will mark this folder as a test assembly folder. So we can say Unity that this is a test assembly folder. You don't include it in the application when we build this application. Okay. So any questions so far? So I will tell you what is the reason why we are keeping this test with the development code base. Whenever we use Selenium, right? We use Selenium Appium. There are protocols that actually identifies the the game objects, and I mean, the element, the UI elements and the APM, I mean, the mobile elements and all. So here we don't have any protocols. We are directly, querying the game object hierarchy here. So we don't have any protocols. That's why, we are keeping our test inside the folder itself. Any questions, people? Any questions so far? All right. Okay. So this is the okay. This is how we are going to fit in our test inside the folder. 1 minute, people. Okay. So this is how we are going to fit in our test. Yeah, there is a question. We use simulator for running the test. Yeah. Okay, so there are different things. We use actual device for running the test because we are using the actual device. We have our actual devices, and we can use your phones as well. If your emulator supports we haven't run the test in emulator so far because I'm not sure whether the emulators are supporting the AR VR things. What we are doing is we are connecting our actual devices. We have our AR VR device and we connect and run it. And mostly, we run it in the editor itself. And, in case of the device unavailability, we use our own mobiles. Okay. All right. Let me move on to the slide. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so we saw what is scene, what is game object, what is an inspector, the game object components, right? I showed you the length, how we are changing the length and breadth, height of the positioning the game objects inside the scene, right? So each game object components have different functionalities to do with the game object. And we have seen the Unity test runner, and I told you the test along with the applications, right? So why we are keeping the test along with the application. So this is the extra terminologies. So how the actual test looks like, how we are going to set up Arium now. So I will tell you how to set up Arium. So actually, I already set up Arium for the demo, but I will tell you how to do it. Okay. So you go to Firefox, you Google Arium. So the first thing that comes in Arium for XR ThoughtWorks. So there will be a GitHub link for it. That is there in the slide. You can take it up. Okay. So this is the link for Arium project. Okay. You go to this GitHub repository. There is a Unity package. So what is a package? Package is kind of a jar file. You can assume in that way. You download this jar. Okay, Arium Unity package. You download it. There will be a Unity package file that is getting downloaded, right? So open that. If you open that Unity package, it will show this window to import the Unity package. If you say import, it will create a folder called Arium framework like this, right? And it will be sitting inside your code repository. This is how you install Arium. It is a 2 clicks install Arium. So that's how Arium is easy to install. Okay. After installing Arium, this is the installation steps. So how we are going to test it now? So all the scripts are written in C#. Okay. So I will show you the C# scripts. I will explain you a sample test. All right. So how we are going to write a sample test for in Arium? So let's assume a sample test case here. Okay, in the scene. As we saw, after running the scene here, whenever I click on this button, this text is getting changed, right? This is a small test case that we are going to, that has been already automated. I'm going to explain how we are automating it. Okay. So we need to run the scene and we need to identify this button and perform a click action and check whether this text has been changed. So do you people think this is a valid test case to do it? Right? Okay. So to automate this test case, what I'm trying to do is, let me stop this. I will show you how we are automating this test case. Okay. Why is not open? So we actually, to automate those test case, right, we need an Arium instance. So when I say Arium instance, right, already we have imported the library. It is just a matter of creating an instance for Arium, and you load the scene. Whenever I say load the scene, just play the scene. So the automation will automatically play the scene and find the object. So when you say find the object, what is the object that needs to be interacted or clicked? You have to find the object, and after finding the object, you interact with the object and assert the values. So this is a simple test flow that we are going to look into now. Okay, so I'll show you this thing. Okay. So the first step is to in the one-time setup. So this is a one-time setup for all my tests. So what I am doing is I am creating an instance for Arium. So after importing the Arium library to your project, so you create a sample test file, and in the one-time setup, you create an instance for Arium. Okay. After creating an instance, you have to load your scene. So load your scene is equal to the action that I made here, right? Clicking on the play button, and the application is up and running now. So this is the equivalent for loading the scene over there. So this load scene will actually start running the scene. So which scene? So the application can have different scenes. Okay. So which scene you want to load now? This is the Unity sample scene, right? So this is the Unity sample scene, the scene name. Okay. So after loading the scene, what I want to do, I want to find an object, find a game object, this button. So this button game object Arium.find object display. Okay. So initially what it is doing is it is finding a game object called display. So display is this game object here. So it is finding the game object and seeing whether what is the text here. The text is a new text here. Okay. So after finding that game object, you have a display game object. This is how Arium finds. This is the syntax for finding a game object inside the scene, inside the hierarchy, right? So Arium.find game object by its name actually. So this is the name of this display game object. So where we are setting the name, you can see the name of the game object here. Okay. So we are finding the game object and we are trying to assert the text value of this particular game object is new text. How we are finding the text, how are we getting the text value of it now? So after finding the game object, we have a game object type here. Let's say it is a data type. Game object is a data type. Okay. So display will be a game object type, and that game object will have the get text component, right? find a game object dot display get text. What does this get text do is it internally find whether this display game object is having a component called text. So for display component, display game object, we have different components here. One is the rect transform component, one is the canvas renderer component, and the other one is the text component. The other one is a shadow component. So this get text is an ARIEM's function. It internally identifies this game object has the component or not. If that has a component, it will try to get the text value of this text component. Okay, and we are asserting the value. The text value is new text or not in this line. Okay, in this particular line. Okay. After identifying the text, what we are doing is we are doing an action. Unity pointer click. What is the action here? Unity pointer click. ARIEM. Actually, this is also an ARIEM's function. What it does is it takes two parameters. One is what is the action that needs to be done on a game object, and what is the game object. Okay, this perform action takes two parameters. This one is the game object, and the other one is what is the action that needs to be done on a game object. So now what I need to do is I need to find a game object called button. So this button, okay, and then do a Unity pointer click on it. I need to click on it. That's the parameters. That's what the parameter that we are sending. Okay. After doing it, so after performing an action, what we are doing is we are asserting the display.text value is button clicked or not. After clicking it, the display.text is button clicked or not. Okay. Let me run this test now. Okay. So I unloaded the scene. Nothing is done. I didn't do anything. I'm going to my test runner. I'm just running the test. Okay. So this is the test. Okay. I say run. Don't save. So scene is loaded. Button is clicked. Button click changed, and the assertion is done. Well, any questions here? People, any questions? Okay. So let me proceed. So now we have seen click. What if I want to slide here? Okay, let's see. So this is a slider. How will I check whether the slider is working or not? This is a slider, right? So how are we dragging the slider? Right? That will be the next question. So since the SDK is providing you different interactions, right? Click is one of the interaction, and dragging is one of the interactions in the ARVR, and pushing an object is one of the interaction in the ARVR. Okay, I will show you how to drag this. Okay. Should drag. Okay. So this is the game object called slider. So what we are doing is we are getting the transform of the slider. When we say transform, ARIEM.get component of transform of slider, what it does is it goes to the slider component, okay, the slider game object. In the slider game object, it will, okay, sorry. In the slider game object, it will take the rect transform component and it will have as a rect transform value, okay. And this rect transform, after performing an action, right, here you're seeing, right, so action ARIEM takes two parameters for perform actions, right. One is the action that needs to be done, and the other one is the actual game object in which the action needs to be done. Okay, that's the two parameters. So we are passing some parameters here. You need to drag the slider and you need to set the position until to which point of the rect transform, you need to slide the dragger. That's the point that we are setting here. Okay. After setting the point, okay, so we are dragging the dragger to this point, okay, to this X position and the Y position. The slider game object will be dragged to this position. Okay, so that's what we are doing in this step. After sliding it, we are checking the slider value. Okay, rem dot, okay, the expected value is 1. So this is a simple test. After sliding to this position, the value of the slider will be 1 is what the expectation is. Okay, I am running this test. Should drag. So you people see that the drag has been done. I will run the test once more. So the drag will happen. This is loading the scene. Loading the scene. The dragger is on the right, and the test is done. Right. So this is how the test is running here. So how we are fitting it? Okay, this is how we use Arium. Okay, how we are setting it up in the CI, right? So we are running our test in the CI, but only in the editor. So we cannot plug in any of our devices in our CI environment. That's why we are running only the editor test in the CI, and we are running the actual test in our devices. How we are running the test in the devices, right? So now, for example, so if you change the build settings to Android, it will undo a switch platform. What happens is it will switch the platform. There is an option called run all in player. Okay, so now it is set to standalone Windows 64. Now I am changing it to Android. After that, it's changing to Android. This will say Android. Okay, so if you say run all in player, what happens is it will create a test package of your application, test APK of your application. Okay, and install it in your device. And whenever you open that application, that test will run. So that in this case, what happens is this is not an actual application that you developed. Okay, the application is getting packaged with your test. Okay, and that is a Unity test APK that is getting installed in your application. And whenever you open that application, right, the test will get executed. For example, let's say you have version 1 and you have 10 tests in your for your version 1 of your application. You can have an APK saying version 1 test, and you can install it in your mobile. And let's say you have changed some some changes in your application, and that's your version 2 application. Let's say you have 15 tests for your version 2, and that can be a different APK. And if you open that APK, that 15 tests will get executed. So we can run the specific test in specific version of the application. Whenever you open the application in your device, that test will get executed. You got it, right? Any questions, people? Okay.
There's a question on the Q&A, JC. Like,
yeah. How to know if the test case is passed or failed when we clicked on should change text or any other test? Okay, I will try to make a test failure. Let's say I change value button clicked to button not clicked. Okay. Now I run the test. Oh, okay. See the test failures. So it says there is an assertion failure, and it indicates the place and the indication here in the test runner. Does that answers your question, Melina? Right. Okay. So let me move on. Okay. After any questions, people in this things. Okay, I have one more question. Okay, thank you. Okay, one minute. Let me move on to the next slide. Okay, so people, these are all the useful links. So I can navigate to you the different links now itself. All right. So whenever you go and just type Arium in Google, okay, Arium get the get, yeah, this is the first link. When you say Arium get, it takes to Arium get, and if you just type Arium, you will be having what is Arium and things. Okay, and in the repo itself, right? Okay, sorry, in the repo itself, you will have uh, a nice README actually, and the documentation link for Arium actually. So you have nice Arium usages links here. Okay. So if you want to be a contributor for Arium, you can just what you can do is so this is the related article. Sorry, you can look into this article from one of my colleague. Okay, who's writing blogs for Arium. He's Nilargia. Okay, and if you just want to contribute, right, you can just take a clone from this repo, and you can start raising pull requests. And if you have a use case that is not covered in Arium for let's say you are working in an XR project and you are looking for some use case and that is not covered in Arium, if you let us know, we can try to accommodate that use case based on based on the priority that we get, and we can get implemented in Arium. And if you want, you can implement it on your own, and you can use it by yourself itself. And one more interesting thing about Arium, right? I forgot to mention in the slides. In the test, right, we have seen this, how to do a click, how to do a drag, and there are actions that Arium has inbuilt. So for example, Arium has inbuilt drag, push, and some other things, click, and drag, and some more actions that comes with Arium by default. Okay, if you face an if you face 1 minute, people, I'm getting okay, if you face any interaction that needs to be added, you can Arium is giving you a plug and play option. Okay, you can have your own interaction implemented within Arium, and you can use it for your own test. So that's one more specialty that Arium has. And this is the Git repo for Arium, and this is an article on building an VR app. So these things are this will be useful for you people to start with AR, VR, and Arium. And doubts, questions, I'm ready to take up anything. Yeah, people. questions?